Welcome back. So, I think the last thing we're going to do in this initial series of videos is just add one more thing to our blueprint actor here. And, well, the one thing we don't have at the moment, let's just have a look at this. So we've got what we've got at the moment. So we can come into here and we can hit the E key and it turns on and off, and we leave again and nothing happens. So we've got rid of the input. We want to be able to tell the player that they actually have this interaction. So let's do that. First thing we are going to do is come into here. And actually I've already added because I did check this before, because I've changed a couple of things in the user interface area. So I've added under my content a UI folder, so you can just come into there and right click, add the new folder, and then within here I'm going to create a user interface widget. So down the bottom here, user interface, and we've got widget blueprint. We want to use a widget. Yes, that's what we want. And let's call it UI underscore HUD. Like so. Control Shift S, and it saves it. Then let's open it up, double click on that, and we can see what we get with the HUD. So I'm just going to drag this again because I do like my full screen. So at the moment, it's pretty empty. What we want to do is add we need to add a canvas panel so that we can then add other things here. So canvas panel, we come down to here. So if when you open up, normally you've got common. If we go into panels, we have our canvas panel. And all we need to do is just drag this onto our hierarchy here, and we get a canvas panel like so. Now in Unreal Engine 4, it did it for us automatically. Unfortunately, well, anyway, the new way to do it is you actually have to add it manually before you can really add things onto the canvas here. So once we've got a canvas panel, we're then going to add a horizontal box. Horizontal box, yeah. We've got horizontal boxes and vertical boxes here. They're very similar. What we can do with these is we can actually add other controls within these. A horizontal box will go along the horizon, so if we add the more tools we add, we'll get 1, 2, 3 along the horizon. Vertical box goes from top to bottom, so a little bit different that way. So just going to add our horizontal box to the panel, and there we go, we have it right there. Now what I want to have happen is when the player enters the collision volume, is that it comes up with a text message basically right in the middle of the screen here. So what we're going to do is add this to the middle. Now you'll notice we've got this strange, kind of looks like a daisy, a little daisy flower. That's an anchor point. So what we want to do, if you come to the right hand side here, you'll see we've got our horizontal box selected and we've got anchors up the top. What I'm going to do is select the middle anchor right here. So you can see we've got top left, which is what we have at the moment. There's some different ones we can have. I'm not going to go through all of these. We're going to go through for the middle one. Go like that, and you'll see immediately a little daisy flower anchor goes in the center, which is great. That's where we want it to be. But our tool, our horizontal box, is still on the top left. We can change that because we've got a position X, position Y. I could just enter 0, 0 into here, or I can come to the right hand side and reset the property to its default value, like so. Now, okay, but it's not actually centered, it's top left. So the way we can fix that is with our alignments. All we need to enter into here is 0.5 and 0.5, and now it is right in the center. We can change the size if we want to, 100 by 30. I'm going to maybe double that, maybe 60 there. And let's make that 200 just to give us a bit of space. There we go. And we have at the moment just a horizontal box, but it hasn't got anything in it. We want to just add a text control here. So go to the top again, drag that down, drop it into my horizontal box. And you will see now the text block is here. A couple of things we want to do, horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, center both of those, and then hit you've got size, auto, and fill. I'm going to go to the fill selection there, and it pops into the center. The other thing we want to do is rename it. We are going to access this as a variable, and you'll see at the top here, you've got the option to make this as a variable. So I'm going to change the name to txt screen text. You can give it another name if you prefer, and I'm going to make that is variable, and then I'm going to compile, and I'm going to save. All great. Okay, that's all we're going to do. Now we could, if we wanted to have more text in here, if we wanted to have something down the left-hand, right-hand corner, bottom corners up there, the idea really is the same. We can simply add different panels, and we can put things in different areas. We'll look at this in more detail later in this series of videos. But for this one, we're just going to have the text in the middle, just as a bit of a demo. All right, so, okay, now we've done that, but you'll notice when we go and play, well, there's nothing showing in my character. So what do we need to do? Well, what we're going to do is actually find my character. A couple of ways to find it. We can go into world settings here on the right-hand side. So to find our world settings, we can go to window and select world settings if it's not visible here already, and then make it visible. And then in our default pawn class is where our first person character is. So we can go and find it this way by just hitting the little browse to asset in content browser. It's kind of useful. And you'll notice the content browser comes up. It's actually under first person. So just go to content, first person, and then blueprints. And it's right here. You'll notice we also have a BP first person game mode, a BP first person projectile, and BP rifle here as well. We're not going to look at these just at the moment, but we will look at them later on. At the moment today, we're just going to check out the first person character blueprint. So I'm going to double click that and open it up. And you'll see we have some stuff here. Now I'm not going to touch this. You can have a look at this in your own time if you want to see what happens, but how it actually works. It's relatively straightforward. You should be able to make some sort of sense out of each of these. And you'll notice, like other blueprints, we have the components here. So we've got a capture component, which we can see in our viewport. Capture component, we've got a camera, which is basically our eyes. We have the arms here as well, which is what we see. We've got a arrow component, and we also have a character movement component as well, which is great. That's really all we need. Now, let me just. So I did practice this before. I checked this out before. So let me just delete that because we don't need that. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it there. Okay, well, we'll create a new one. So we've also got a construction script, which we saw how that works in our interactive light actor blueprint. And we have our event graph. So what we want to do is, that's one thing I will say, if you're ever wondering where to put your code for doing anything, usually put it in the blueprint that is directly affected. And for this one, it's actually the first person character. So the character is the one that we're going to be interacting with. This way, it means that if I take this character and put it into any map, the UI will follow it. So anything like that you think sort of belongs with the character, put with the character. It's one of the things to be thinking about. Now you notice at the moment we do not have a begin play event. So what I'm going to do is say begin play, and you can see event begin play comes up. So unlike some of the other blueprint actors, it doesn't come up automatically. But even if in the other ones, if you delete it accidentally, just go and do that and get begin play back. And the first thing we want to do is actually create a widget. So just typing in create widget there, bang. And we want to select the class. Now I could use my drop down, it's that one there, or I can also Control Shift, go back to my UI and UI HUD, and I can hit the arrow there, use Asset Browser Selection, and there we've got it. Owning player, we want to put that in as well. Now that is actually, if we hover over there, it says player controller object referencing owner player. So let's just right click here and say get player controller this time. So we want the controller object. So if we want to go over here, player controller object. So let's just go player controller. And that's the thing that actually controls this blueprint, the character blueprint. So that controls things like input, etc. into here. Drag that onto there. So that's going to make that the owning player. And then now, what do we do next? We want to actually, next thing we'll do is add that to the viewport. Add to viewport, like so. Yeah, that's fine for now. Now, what we should do, what we should see when we play, if everything's going correctly, you can see we have the text actually on the screen. That's why I left the text in there, just saying text block, so we could actually see what we were getting. That's great. That's what we want. It's exactly how things have gone. Look, I might just pause there and come back, and we will look at how we set this all up and interact with our object.